That's the worst bit about having a real fire. Obviously you've got to clean it out. This is probably
So people have been asking me for a long time, you know, what do I carry in my kind of first aid kit? Well, this is my kind of vehicle-based first aid kit. So I've got another little first aid kit in my bug-out bag, and most of my bags have a first aid element. But this is just kind of backup stuff, you know. So this orange sheet is a thermal blanket, so silver on one side, waterproof on the other. And the idea of that really is if you find someone that you have to leave in situ, you know, they're cold, it's raining, you can put it over them, you can tuck it in around them, and try and maintain their body temperature, make them as comfortable as possible. The other thing I've got is a small pillow and an old ambulance blanket. But again, you know, I remember being in the woods with a friend who zipped his leg open quite badly. And as it turned out, he just needed, you know, direct pressure, dressing, and he managed to get himself out of the woods okay. But had he needed more professional help, he might have been laying there for an hour, you know, before anybody got to him. So maintaining people's body temperature, I think, making them comfortable, tender loving care, all that sort of things is, I think, grossly underestimated. You know, I have known people that have talked patients out of having a cardiac arrest simply because they felt cared for, looked after, somebody was coming, you know, they felt reassured, so suddenly they started to get better psychologically, you know, although their injury still needed to attend hospital and to get sorted. This blue thing is a carry sheet, so very simply it's a canvas sheet. It's got two slits down the side that you can put poles through. It'll make a brilliant kind of makeshift bed or hammock, and it's also got these kind of heavy duty carry handles. Within a hospital environment, they're kind of used to slide patients from one bed to another. They're not really used to carry people, but I put it in my kit because if you did have to evacuate somebody, at least I've got something in there that I could do it with. You could make it into a lot more of a sturdy stretcher, or you can use it as a carry sheet. Sometimes what you could do with the carry sheet is just fold it in half, slide it under somebody's bottom. They put their arms around your shoulders, one person on each side holds the handles, and that's how you transport them. Carry sheet just makes life a little bit easier, and you don't see too many of them nowadays. I'll bring you in a bit closer in a moment to have a look at all the bits and pieces. These things are just a variant of the sort of SAM splint, you know, so you can manipulate them into any shape you like. The thing about a patient and kind of, you know, falls, trips, breaks, sprains, all that sort of thing, is predominantly the patient will get themselves in the most comfortable position for them, you know, so splinting an injury in situ. So example, if I had an injury to my arm, I would naturally get it in the most comfortable position to hold it. So when you turn up, it's just a matter of fitting the splint around the position that they've got, provided they've got distal pulses. But these splints, you know, they fold up to nothing, they can come in really handy, and they're a variant of a thing called a SAM splint. I've got bandages, tape. I like to have a roll of strips of plaster. So this is a piece of plaster. It's about 3 inches wide. It's about 4 feet long. So I can use it as an inclusive dressing. I can cut a piece off and just use it as a little plaster. But plaster like this gives you options. A box of plasters, you know, that's you're limiting your potential treatments with that. The rest of it really is just dressings, it's pills and potions. I've got a couple of syringes with needles. Sometimes they're great for irrigating wounds. Sometimes you'll find people that have their own medication, you know, that they need to administer. This thing I really like. This is an emergency dental kit. You don't see too many people with these, but I've got a couple of crowns. So really, I'm building a medical kit around my medical needs. You know, I have had a crown come out in the field before now with an emergency medical kit. It's not that difficult to just clean it and stick it back in. Those sort of things are readily available at sort of high street pharmacists, though no one ever carries them to talk of. I've got a couple of tourniquets, only because tourniquets are really handy for stemming bleeding. You know, so if you've got somebody that's got a severed brachial artery or something like that, you're going to have very traumatic bleeding. Putting a tourniquet on will just assist with the direct pressure. It doesn't mean you occlude the blood completely. You just put it on so it gives you direct pressure. You can also use them to hold dressings in place while you tape them up and secure them properly. I've got a little toolkit, and I've got some trauma shears, some forceps, a window punch, a torch, 2 or 3 pairs of rubber gloves, maybe a old penknife. But really, this is my kind of kit that I keep in the truck, and all it does is, this is where I go if the kit in my bag needs resupply, or I end up with a patient that is going to be, you know, where they are for a considerable time, and help is going to have to come to them. So this is just a kit to kind of make a patient comfortable. I've got deep heat. I've got these elastic bandages. They can come in really handy. Lemsips, Dialyte, some tablets for stopping diarrhea. Little burns treatment, surgical gloves, and pills and potions, just your paracetamol and things like that. But a lot of people have asked me about my kind of first aid medical kit. This is what I carry in the truck, and it's just designed to support what I already have in a bag, or if I have a patient that I'm going to be with maybe while others go off and get help, you know, so you're going to be there with that person for several hours. This is a little kit to make them a little bit more comfortable. So in way of a change, all I'm going to do is a kind of big dessert. So I've just bought some stale bread from home. Got 3 or 4 slices of white bread. I've got some old rolls. I've got some chocolate kind of pain au chocolat that were left over. So bread and butter pudding in the field. Going to bring you in a bit closer. We're going to make this lovely dessert. So clues in the name, bread and butter pudding. Just going to take some butter and just run it round the, this is just a silver foil dish that I'm going to cook it in. I'm going to put it in the potbelly stove, hopefully put some embers sort of on, in, around it. That is just going to stop it sticking. All we're going to do is just line this dish with all your kind of leftover stale bread, and like I say, it doesn't have to be anything specific, you know, it could just be absolutely anything at all. just zipping those down, literally going to butter them. I know I can feel my artery is hardening as we speak, so going to butter these, and then I'm just going to line the bottom of the dish with them, and I'll bring you back when I've done that. Okay, so that's the first layer. What I've done is I've just brought some walnuts, some mixed fruit, raisins, and I'm just going to sprinkle a handful of those in. Like I say, it's just mixed fruit, so anything you fancy. I've got some walnuts as well, and I'm just going to break those up nice and small. I'm just going to drop those in, just trying to make it a bit Christmassy. You could grate a chocolate bar or something like that in there if you want to. In fact, I've got one, so I think we might be doing a bit of that. Okay. I'm going to throw in this last little bit of mixed fruit that I've bought. Then what we're going to do is have another layer of bread and butter on top. Like I say, it's just good old-fashioned stale leftover bread. Some people say you should butter both sides of the bread, some people say one side. Really, you know, I think it's much of a muchness, doesn't really matter. Obviously, the more butter, the nicer it's going to be. So, like I say, all just leftover bread, can even be stale bread, but so I've just broken that just chocolate bar up and sort of laid it on the top. Here we go with the next layer. This is just some old kind of bread rolls that I had left. When this goes in the pot-belly stove, it'll all kind of melt down together. Okay, so there is our bread. Now what we're going to do is mix up some eggs, cream, a little bit of sugar, some milk, and then we'll be pouring. Okay, so this is our mix going in, so we're going to use 4 eggs. I'm going to put a splash of milk in and some sugar. Fair amount of sugar. I'm going to splash in a little bit of double cream as well. Just going to whisk it all up now, and we're going to be pouring it in on top of our bread. So that's 4 eggs, double cream, splash of milk, and a, you know, half a cup of sugar. Okay, so that's our mixture. Now all we're going to do with this is just pour it over the top. Yep. I want it to get all the way through to the bottom. Just going to sit it on the side so that that all kind of soaks all the way through. Once the bread has absorbed all of that egg mix,
what we're going to do is just splash a bit of cinnamon on the top, and then it's going to go in the potbelly stove. Take about 35 minutes, something like that, till it's all cooked, and then I'll dish you up a slice. But that's as complicated as bread and butter pudding in the field really is. Like I say, just a little bit of cinnamon on the top. Ready to go in the potbelly stove. Just warming up the potbelly stove. Give it 15-20 minutes and pop in the bread and butter pudding. So inside the potbelly stove there's a little tray in the bottom that just kind of lifts it. Last thing you'd want to do is put food kind of right on the bottom or touching the edge, because all that'll do is it'll just burn. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I reckon 30 minutes we'll have a beautiful bread and butter pudding.